The black SUV plunged off the bridge at exactly 11:47 p.m. Zara Williams watched in horror as the vehicle crashed through the guardrail and disappeared into the freezing Han River below. The impact echoed through the empty streets of Seoul like a gunshot. She stood frozen on the riverbank where she had been sleeping under the bridge, her thin blanket wrapped around her shoulders, her breath forming clouds in the December air. Most people would have run away. Most people would have called for help. But Zara had learned a long time ago that help never came for people like her. So she ran toward the river instead. The water hit her like 1,000 knives as she dove in. The cold stole her breath, made her muscles scream, but she pushed forward anyway. She could see the SUV sinking fast, its headlights still on, illuminating the murky water like a dying beacon. Through the driver's window, she saw him. A man. Unconscious. His head was bleeding, slumped against the steering wheel. Zara pulled at the door handle. It would not budge. The pressure of the water kept it sealed shut. She slammed her fist against the window once, twice, 3 times. Her lungs burned. Her vision started to blur. On the 4th try, the window shattered. Glass cut into her hands, but she did not feel it. All she felt was the weight of this man as she grabbed his collar and pulled. He was massive. Easily over 200 pounds of solid muscle. His body was limp, unresponsive. The car sank faster. Zara kicked with everything she had. Her legs screamed. Her chest felt like it would explode. But she kept kicking, kept pulling, kept fighting against the current that tried to drag them both down. When they finally broke the surface, Zara gasped for air like she had never breathed before. She dragged him to the riverbank, her arms shaking, her body trembling from cold and exhaustion. She collapsed onto the frozen ground beside him and pressed her ear to his chest. Nothing. No heartbeat. Zara started CPR. She pressed down on his chest, counting, praying, begging whatever God might be listening to let this stranger live. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She breathed into his mouth. His lips were cold. His face was beautiful even in the darkness. Sharp jawline, high cheekbones, a small scar near his left eyebrow. She kept pressing. Come on, she thought. Come on, do not die on me. On the 14th compression, he coughed. Water spilled from his lips. His eyes flew open. Dark eyes, almost black, filled with confusion and pain and something else. Something dangerous. Those eyes locked onto hers. For a moment, neither of them moved. Neither of them breathed. Then Zara heard it. Sirens. Getting closer. She scrambled backward, her survival instincts kicking in. She was homeless. She was black. She was in a country where she did not belong. The police would ask questions she could not answer. They would find out she had overstayed her visa. They would deport her back to a country where nothing waited for her except more pain. The man tried to speak, but his voice came out as a ragged whisper. Zara did not stay to hear what he had to say. She grabbed her blanket, her small bag of belongings, and she ran. She disappeared into the shadows of Seoul like she had done 100 times before. Like a ghost. Like she had never existed at all. But what Zara did not know was that the man she had just saved was Kang Jae-won. The most powerful mafia boss in South Korea. And he never forgot a debt. Before we continue, I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone watching. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. Whether you have been here since day one or this is your first video, I appreciate each and every one of you. This year, I am committed to bringing you even more amazing stories like this one. So if you are new here, go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join the family. Now let us get back to this story because trust me, it is about to get crazy. 3 days later, Zara sat in the corner of a convenience store, pretending to read a magazine while the warmth from the heating vents thawed her frozen bones. The owner, an elderly Korean woman named Mrs. Kim, let her stay sometimes when the nights were too cold. In exchange, Zara helped clean the floors and stock the shelves. It was not much. But it was survival. The bell above the door chimed, and 3 men walked in. They wore expensive suits. Their shoes were polished. Their eyes were cold. Zara's instincts screamed at her to run, but she forced herself to stay still. Do not draw attention, she told herself. Just be invisible. The men spoke to Mrs. Kim in rapid Korean. Zara had picked up enough of the language over the past year to understand bits and pieces. They were asking about a girl. A black girl. Zara's blood ran cold. Mrs. Kim shook her head, but Zara saw the fear in her eyes. The old woman was lying for her. Protecting her. One of the men slammed his hand on the counter. Mrs. Kim flinched. Zara stood up. She did not know why she did it. Every survival instinct told her to stay hidden. But she could not watch this woman get hurt because of her. Excuse me, Zara said in broken Korean. Is there a problem? All 3 men turned to look at her. The tallest one smiled. It was not a friendly smile. You are the one, he said in English. His accent was thick but understandable. Boss has been looking for you. I do not know what you are talking about, Zara said. I think you have the wrong person. The man pulled out his phone and showed her a picture. It was a grainy image captured from a traffic camera. A woman diving into the river. A woman pulling a body from a sinking car. Zara's heart stopped. You saved the life of Kang Jae-won, the man said. He would like to thank you personally. I do not want thanks. I just want to be left alone. The man shook his head. That is not how this works. When the boss wants to see someone, they see him. It is not a request. Zara looked at Mrs. Kim. The old woman's eyes were filled with tears. Go with them, child, Mrs. Kim whispered. These are not men you refuse. Zara had no choice. The men led her outside to a black car that probably cost more than she would ever see in her lifetime. They opened the door, and she slid inside. The interior was all leather and luxury. A small TV screen was embedded in the headrest. The windows were tinted so dark she could not see outside. For 30 minutes, they drove through Seoul. Zara watched the city pass by through the small gaps in the tint. Bright lights, busy streets, a world that had never made room for someone like her. Finally, the car stopped. They had arrived at a building that looked like it belonged in a movie. Modern architecture, sleek lines, security guards at every entrance. A penthouse that touched the clouds. The men escorted her through a private elevator that required 3 different keycards and a fingerprint scan. When the doors opened, Zara stepped into a world she had never known existed. The penthouse was massive. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a view of the entire city. The furniture was minimal but clearly expensive. Art hung on the walls, pieces that looked like they belonged in museums, not private homes. And standing at the center of it all was him. Kang Jae-won. He looked different than he had that night. His hair was dry, slicked back from his face. His suit was tailored perfectly to his broad shoulders. The cut on his forehead had been stitched and was already healing. But his eyes were the same. Dark. Intense. Dangerous. Leave us, he said to his men. They bowed and disappeared. Zara was alone with the most powerful criminal in South Korea. The silence stretched between them like a wire about to snap. You ran away, he said finally. His voice was deep, smooth, with an edge that made Zara's spine tingle. I have been trying to find you for 3 days. Do you know how many resources I had to use just to locate one homeless girl? Zara lifted her chin. I did not ask you to find me. A small smile tugged at his lips. No. But I always pay my debts. And I owe you my life. You do not owe me anything. I did what anyone would have done. No, he said, taking a step closer. You did what no one else would do. My car went off that bridge in front of 15 witnesses. Not one of them jumped in. Not one of them tried to help. They stood there with their phones, recording. Waiting for me to die. He took another step. But you. A stranger. A woman with nothing. You risked your life for someone you did not know. Zara shrugged, trying to hide how fast her heart was beating. Like I said, it was no big deal. It was a very big deal, he said. And I intend to repay you. I do not want your money. Good. Because I was not offering money. He gestured toward the window. Look at this city, he said. I own half of it. I have more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. But in that river, none of it mattered. I was just a man. Drowning. Dying. And you were the only one who saw me as worth saving. Zara felt something shift in the air between them. What do you want from me? She asked quietly. I want to know who you are, he said. I want to know why an American woman is living on the streets of Seoul. I want to know everything about you, Zara Williams. She flinched at the sound of her name. You already know my name, she said. I know many things. I know you came to Korea 2 years ago on a tourist visa. I know you never left. I know you have no family, no friends, no one looking for you. What I do not know is why. Zara turned away from him, staring out at the city lights. Some stories are not meant to be told, she said. He moved to stand beside her. His presence was overwhelming. Heat radiated from him, wrapping around her like a blanket. I have time, he said. And I am a very patient man. For a long moment, Zara said nothing. Then, slowly, the words began to spill out. She told him about growing up in Chicago. About her mother, who worked 3 jobs just to keep them fed. About her father, who left before she was old enough to remember his face. About her mother getting sick when Zara was 17. Cancer. The kind that did not care about how hard you worked or how much you prayed. She told him about the medical bills that piled up. About dropping out of college to take care of her mother. About watching the woman who had given her everything slowly fade away. She told him about the day her mother died. About standing at the grave with nothing but an empty apartment and a stack of debt that would take decades to pay off. She told him about the man she had trusted. Marcus. Her high school sweetheart. The one who had promised to take care of her. The one who had taken everything she had left and disappeared. She told him about running. About getting on a plane with the last of her savings and going as far as she could go. About choosing Korea because she had always loved K-dramas as a teenager. About the irony of escaping her problems only to find herself homeless on the other side of the world. By the time she finished, her cheeks were wet with tears she had not felt falling. Jae-won said nothing for a long moment. Then he reached out and brushed a tear from her cheek. You are not alone anymore, he said. Zara shook her head. You do not even know me. I know enough. I know you are strong. I know you are brave. I know you risked your life to save a stranger. That tells me everything I need to know about who you are. He stepped back and pulled out his phone. You will stay here, he said. In one of the guest rooms. I will have someone bring you clothes, food, anything you need. Tomorrow, we will figure out the rest. I cannot just stay here, Zara protested. I am not some charity case. Jae-won looked at her with those dark eyes. You are not charity, he said. You are an investment. I always take care of what is valuable to me. Before she could argue further, a woman appeared. She was elegant, dressed in a simple black dress, her hair pulled back in a tight bun. This is Secretary Han, Jae-won said. She will take care of you. Secretary Han bowed slightly. Please follow me, Miss Williams. Zara looked back at Jae-won one last time. He was already turning away, his phone pressed to his ear, speaking rapidly in Korean. She had just been dismissed by a MAFIA boss. The guest room was bigger than any apartment Zara had ever lived in. The bed was king-sized with sheets that felt like clouds. The bathroom had a tub the size of a small pool. Secretary Han showed her how to use the various controls. Lights, temperature, the smart TV that covered an entire wall. If you need anything, Secretary Han said, press this button and someone will come. Why is he doing this? Zara asked suddenly. What does he really want from me? Secretary Han paused at the door. In the 10 years I have worked for Mr. Kong, she said, I have never seen him look at anyone the way he looked at you tonight. I do not know what he wants. But I know it is more than repaying a debt. She bowed and left. Zara stood alone in the massive room, her mind spinning. What had she gotten herself into? Now I know you are all on the edge of your seats right now. This story is just getting started, and trust me, there are so many twists coming that you will not see coming. If you are enjoying this so far, take 1 second to hit that like button. It helps the channel so much, and it lets me know you want more stories like this. Okay, let us continue. 2 weeks passed. 2 weeks of silk sheets and gourmet meals. 2 weeks of new clothes that fit her perfectly and shoes that did not have holes in them. 2 weeks of luxury that Zara still could not believe was real. But more than that. 2 weeks of Kong Jae-won. He was busier than anyone she had ever met. Meetings that ran from morning until night. Phone calls in languages she did not understand. Men in suits coming and going at all hours. But somehow, he always made time for her. They had dinner together every night. Just the two of them in his private dining room, the city lights twinkling through the windows. He asked her questions about her life, about her dreams, about the things she loved. And she asked him questions too. She learned that he had taken over his father's empire at 22 after his father was assassinated by a rival clan. She learned that he had a younger sister named Su Min who was studying abroad in Paris. She learned that his mother had died giving birth to him and his father had never let him forget it. You must have loved him, Zara said one night. Your father. Jae-won's jaw tightened. Love is not the right word. I respected him. I feared him. I wanted to be him. But love? He shook his head. My father was not capable of love. And he made sure I was not capable of it either. Zara reached across the table and touched his hand. I do not believe that, she said quietly. Jae-won looked at her hand on his. For a moment, something flickered in his eyes. Something vulnerable. Something human. Then it was gone, replaced by that careful mask he always wore. You should, he said. Believing otherwise is dangerous. Maybe I like danger, Zara said. His eyes darkened. Do not play with fire, Zara. Who says I am playing? The tension between them was thick enough to cut. Jae-won stood abruptly. I have a meeting, he said. Do not wait up. He left the room without looking back. But that night, when Zara went to sleep, she dreamed of dark eyes and dangerous smiles. She was falling. And she was not sure she wanted to stop. The trouble started 3 days later. Zara was walking through the penthouse when she heard voices coming from Jae-won's office. The door was slightly open. She should have walked away. She knew that. But something made her stop and listen. This is ridiculous, a woman's voice said. Sharp. Angry. You cannot be serious about this girl. I do not answer to you, Jae-won replied. His voice was cold. I am your fiancé, the woman snapped. Or have you forgotten? Zara's heart dropped to her stomach. Fiancé. Jae-won had a fiancé. Our engagement was arranged by our families, Jae-won said. It means nothing. It means everything, the woman hissed. Our marriage will unite the two most powerful families in Korea. And you are jeopardizing all of that for what? Some homeless American girl you pulled out of the river? Watch your tongue, Han Na-young. No. I am tired of watching. I am tired of waiting. Every day, I hear rumors. Kong Jae-won is keeping a black woman in his penthouse. Kong Jae-won is falling for a foreigner. Do you have any idea how humiliating this is for me? Your humiliation is not my concern. There was a sound. A slap. Zara pressed herself against the wall, her pulse racing. When the woman spoke again, her voice was low. Venomous. Get rid of her, Na-young said. I do not care how. But if you do not, I will. Footsteps approached the door. Zara ran. She made it to her room just as she heard the office door slam open. Her hands were shaking. Her mind was reeling. He was engaged. All this time. All those dinners. All those moments where she thought something was building between them. He was engaged to another woman. A woman who clearly wanted Zara gone. There was a knock at her door. Zara did not answer. The door opened anyway. Jae-won stood in the doorway. His cheek was red where Na-young had slapped him. You heard, he said. It was not a question. Zara turned away from him. You did not tell me you were engaged. Because it does not matter. How can you say that? Of course it matters. Jae-won crossed the room in 3 strides. He grabbed her arm and spun her to face him. Listen to me, he said. Na-young means nothing to me. Our engagement was arranged when we were children. It is politics. Business. It has nothing to do with us. There is no us, Zara said. There cannot be. Why not? Because I am not stupid. Zara pulled her arm free. I heard what she said. I am a liability to you. A scandal. The girl you pulled out of the river. I know my place in this world, Jae-won. I have always known it. Jae-won's expression shifted. For the first time since she met him, he looked uncertain. What if I do not care about any of that? He said. Then you are a fool. Maybe I am. He moved closer. Maybe I have been a fool since the moment I opened my eyes and saw your face. Maybe I have been a fool every night at dinner, looking at you, listening to you, wanting you in ways I have never wanted anyone. Do not say that, Zara whispered. Why not? It is the truth. Because I cannot afford to want you back. The words hung in the air between them. Jae-won reached up and cupped her face in his hands. His touch was gentle, so at odds with everything she knew about him. Then do not want me, he said. But let me want you. Let me take care of you. Let me protect you from everyone who would hurt you. What about Na-young? I will handle Na-young. She wants me dead. She wants a lot of things. Jae-won's jaw tightened. But she will not touch you. I will make sure of it. Zara looked into his eyes. She saw the danger there. The darkness. But beneath it, she saw something else. Something that looked terrifyingly like love. This is a bad idea, she said. I know. We are from different worlds. I know. Nothing about this makes sense. I know. Then why? Because I have spent my entire life making sense, Jae-won said. I have done what was expected. I have been what everyone needed me to be. But when I am with you, I do not want to make sense. I just want to be. Zara felt her resolve crumbling. If we do this, she said, there is no going back. I do not want to go back. I only want to go forward. With you. He leaned in, and Zara stopped breathing. His lips brushed hers. Soft. Questioning. Giving her the chance to pull away. She did not pull away. She kissed him back. And in that moment, everything changed. The next few weeks were a dream Zara never wanted to wake up from. Jae-won was different with her than he was with everyone else. In public, he was cold, calculating, the mafia boss everyone feared. But in private, he was tender. He laughed at her jokes. He held her hand while they watched movies. He kissed her like she was the most precious thing in the world. He also told her things. Things about his business, his past, his fears. Things he said he had never told anyone. He told her about the nightmares. About seeing his father's body after the assassination. About the blood that stained his hands when he took his revenge. I am not a good man, he said one night, his head resting in her lap while she ran her fingers through his hair. I have done terrible things. Things that would make you run if you knew them. Try me, Zara said. So he did. He told her about the bodies. The bribes. The wars he had fought and won. He told her about the deals with corrupt politicians and the enemies he had buried. He told her everything. And Zara listened. When he was done, he looked at her with those dark eyes. Do you hate me now? He asked. Zara leaned down and kissed his forehead. I could never hate you, she said. You did what you had to do to survive. I understand survival. He sat up and pulled her into his arms. How are you real? He murmured against her hair. How did I get so lucky? You almost died, Zara reminded him. I would not call that lucky. It was the luckiest day of my life. Because it brought me to you. Their relationship deepened. It became physical. Passionate. Intense. Jae-won was gentle with her at first, treating her like she might break. But Zara showed him she was not fragile. She showed him she could match his fire with her own. The nights they spent together were filled with whispered confessions and stolen breaths. Their bodies learned each other like maps, memorizing every curve, every scar, every secret place. You are mine, Jae-won said one night, his body pressed against hers, his lips at her ear. Say it. I am yours, Zara breathed. And I am yours. Only yours. Forever. They were living in a bubble. A beautiful, impossible bubble. But bubbles always burst. The first crack came from an unexpected source. Secretary Han knocked on Zara's door one morning with an urgent expression. You need to see this, she said. She led Zara to a small room filled with monitors. Security footage from throughout the building. On one of the screens, Zara saw Han Na-young. She was talking to a man Zara did not recognize. A man with cold eyes and a scar running down his face. Who is that? Zara asked. Park Sung-ho, Secretary Han said grimly. He is the head of the Park clan. Mr. Kang's biggest rival. What is Na-young doing talking to him? That is what concerns me. The conversation happened yesterday. In a private restaurant. My sources managed to get this footage. Secretary Han pressed play. The audio was slightly muffled, but Zara could make out enough. The girl has to go, Na-young was saying. I want her destroyed. Park Sung-ho smiled. And what do I get in return? When I marry Jae-won, you will have a friend in the Kong organization. I can feed you information. Help you take him down from the inside. You would betray your own husband. He is not my husband yet. And as long as that girl is alive, he never will be. Park Sung-ho leaned back. Interesting. And how would you like her destroyed? Make it painful, Na-young said. Make it slow. I want her to suffer. The footage ended. Zara felt sick. We need to tell Mr. Kong, Secretary Han said. But before they could move, alarms started blaring throughout the building. Red lights flashed. Gunfire erupted somewhere below them. They found us, Secretary Han said, her face going pale. The Park clan. They are here. Zara's blood ran cold. Where is Jae-won? In a meeting on the 40th floor. Then we need to get to him. Secretary Han shook her head. You need to hide. If they find you, they will kill you. I am not hiding while he is in danger. Zara grabbed Secretary Han's arm. You do not understand. I cannot lose him. I have lost everyone I have ever loved. I will not lose him too. Something shifted in Secretary Han's eyes. Respect. Fine, she said. But we do this my way. Follow me. They moved through the building using service corridors and hidden passages that Zara never knew existed. The sounds of fighting grew louder. Screams. Explosions. The smell of smoke and blood. When they finally reached the 40th floor, Zara's heart nearly stopped. Bodies everywhere. Jae-won's men. Park's men. Blood pooling on the expensive marble floors. And in the center of it all, Jae-won. He was fighting 3 men at once. His movements were fluid, deadly. He dispatched one with a knife to the throat, another with a bullet to the head. The third managed to land a hit, sending Jae-won stumbling. Jae-won. Zara screamed. His head whipped toward her. His eyes widened. No, he shouted. Get out of here. But it was too late. Hands grabbed Zara from behind. She struggled, kicked, bit, but there were too many of them. Park Sung-ho stepped out of the shadows, clapping slowly. Well, well, he said. The famous girl from the river. I have heard so much about you. Let her go, Jae-won snarled. His gun was aimed at Park, but there were too many enemies between them. This is between you and me. It was between you and me, Park agreed. But then Na-young made me a very interesting offer. And I have to admit, watching you fall apart over a woman. It is too entertaining to pass up. If you hurt her, I will destroy everything you love. Park laughed. You are in no position to make threats. He nodded to his men. One of them pressed a knife to Zara's throat. Jae-won went absolutely still. Drop your weapon, Park said. Kneel. Jae-won looked at Zara. His eyes were wild. Desperate. Do not do it, Zara said. Do not give in because of me. Shut up, one of the men hissed, pressing the knife harder. A thin line of blood trickled down Zara's neck. Something snapped in Jae-won's expression. He dropped his gun. He knelt. Park smiled and walked toward him. Look at you. The mighty Kong Jae-won. Brought to his knees by a homeless black girl. Your father would be so disappointed. My father was a monster. Yes. But at least he was strong. You are weak. And weakness deserves to be eliminated. Park raised his gun. Zara screamed. And then everything happened at once. Secretary Han, who everyone had forgotten about, pulled a gun from somewhere and shot the man holding Zara. Zara dropped to the ground, grabbing the fallen knife. Jae-won lunged forward, tackling Park. The room exploded into chaos. Bullets flew. Bodies fell. Zara fought like she had never fought before, slashing and stabbing anyone who came near her. When the dust finally settled, Park Sung-ho was dead. His body lay at Jae-won's feet, a knife buried in his chest. Jae-won was covered in blood. Some of it was his own. He looked at Zara across the room. His expression was unreadable. Then he crossed the space between them in 3 steps and crushed her to his chest. I thought I lost you, he said, his voice cracking. When I saw that knife at your throat, I thought I was going to lose you. You saved me, Zara whispered. You saved me first. He pulled back and looked at her face. Every day since the river, you have been saving me. They kissed. It was desperate and bloody and perfect. When they finally broke apart, Secretary Han cleared her throat. Sir, she said. There is still the matter of Han Na-young. She was working with Park. She betrayed you. Jae-won's expression went cold. Bring her to me, he said. Before I continue, let me just say this. If you have made it this far, you are a real one. This story has so much more to give, and I promise you, the ending is going to leave you speechless. If you are enjoying this, drop a comment below and tell me what you think should happen to Na-young. And while you are at it, make sure you are subscribed because you do not want to miss what is coming next. Okay, let us finish this. Han Na-young was brought before them 2 hours later. She looked nothing like the elegant woman Zara had seen before. Her hair was disheveled. Her makeup was smeared with tears. Her dress was torn. She fell to her knees before Jae-won. Please, she begged. I can explain. I was manipulated. Park forced me to work with him. He threatened my family. Jae-won looked at her with cold eyes. "Secretary Han," he said. "Play the recording." Secretary Han pulled out her phone and pressed play. Na-young's voice filled the room. "Make it painful. Make it slow. I want her to suffer." Na-young's face crumpled. "I am sorry," she sobbed. "I was jealous. I loved you. I have always loved you. And she took you from me." "You never had me," Jae-won said. "Our engagement was a contract. A business arrangement. I told you from the beginning that I would never love you. I thought you would change your mind. I thought if I waited long enough, if I was patient enough." "You thought wrong." Jae-won turned to his men. "Take her to the cells," he said. "She will face trial before the council for her betrayal." "You cannot do this," Na-young shrieked. "My family will destroy you. Your family has already been notified of your treason. They have disowned you to save themselves." Na-young's screams echoed through the halls as she was dragged away. Zara stood beside Jae-won, watching her go. "What will happen to her?" she asked quietly. "The council will decide. But betraying the family, working with a rival clan, attempting to have someone killed. There is only one punishment for that." Zara nodded slowly. She should have felt pity. Maybe a part of her did. But a bigger part of her felt something else. Relief. The weeks that followed were filled with rebuilding. Jae-won worked tirelessly to repair the damage from the Park clan attack. Bodies needed to be buried. Alliances needed to be reinforced. The empire needed to be stabilized. But no matter how busy he was, he always came home to Zara. Their love deepened in ways neither of them expected. Jae-won started making changes. Small at first, then bigger. He began pulling back from the darkest parts of his business. He invested in legitimate enterprises. He made plans for a future that did not involve blood and violence. "For you," he told Zara one night. "I want to be someone you can be proud of." "I am already proud of you," she said. "I want to be better." "Then be better. But be better for yourself, not just for me." He kissed her then, long and slow. "I love you," he said when they finally pulled apart. "I have never said those words to anyone. But I love you, Zara Williams. More than I ever thought I was capable of loving." Zara felt tears spring to her eyes. "I love you too," she said. "Against all odds. Against all reason. I love you." 6 months later, Jae-won proposed. He took her back to the bridge where his car had plunged into the river. Where their story had begun. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. "This is where I should have died," Jae-won said. "But instead, it is where I found my life. My purpose. My everything." He dropped to one knee. "Zara Williams, will you marry me?" Zara looked at this man who had changed everything. This dangerous, complicated, beautiful man who had seen her at her lowest and loved her anyway. "Yes," she said. 1,000 times yes. He slipped the ring on her finger. It was elegant, simple. A single diamond that caught the light of the setting sun. He stood and pulled her into his arms. "I am going to spend the rest of my life making you happy," he said. "You already make me happy. Then I am going to spend the rest of my life keeping you happy." They kissed as the sun set behind them, casting their shadows long across the bridge. Two broken people who had found each other in the most impossible way. Two souls who had been drowning until they learned to save each other. The wedding was the event of the year. Zara wore a dress that combined African and Korean elements. Kent cloth patterns woven into traditional hanbok silhouette. She had never felt more beautiful. The ceremony was intimate. Just close friends and trusted allies. Secretary Han cried. Jae-won's sister Sumin flew in from Paris and immediately declared Zara the best thing that had ever happened to her brother. And when Jae-won lifted Zara's veil and looked at her face, there were tears in his eyes. "My wife," he said. "My husband," she said. Forever, they said together. The reception lasted until dawn. There was dancing and laughter and more happiness than Zara had ever thought possible. Later, in the quiet of their bedroom, Jaewon held Zara close. "Thank you," he said. "For what?" "For jumping into that river. For saving a stranger. For not running when you saw who I really was." Zara smiled and pressed a kiss to his chest. "I told you," she said. "I like danger." He laughed, a sound that still surprised her with its warmth. "Then you married the right man." "I married the only man," she corrected. "There was never anyone else. There never will be." They made love slowly that night. Taking their time. Savoring each other. And when they finally fell asleep, tangled together in sheets that cost more than Zara's old life, she felt something she had not felt in years. Peace. 1 year later, Zara stood on the balcony of their penthouse, looking out at the city that had become her home. So much had changed. She was no longer homeless. No longer invisible. No longer alone. She was Zara Khan. Wife of the most powerful man in Seoul. Philanthropist. Advocate for homeless youth. A woman with purpose and power and love. Arms wrapped around her from behind. "What are you thinking about?" Jaewon asked, his chin resting on her shoulder. "About how different my life is now. About how scared I was when I first came to this city. About how I never imagined I could be this happy." Jaewon turned her to face him. "You deserve every happiness," he said. "You deserve the world." "I do not need the world. I just need you." He smiled that rare smile that was only for her. "You have me," he said. "Forever and always." She kissed him, and he kissed her back, and somewhere in the distance, the sun began to rise over Seoul. A new day. A new beginning. A love story that started with tragedy and ended with triumph. And as they stood there together, watching the city wake up, Zara knew one thing for certain. She had finally found her home. Not a place. A person. And she would never let him go. That was the story of the homeless black girl who dragged a 200-pound Korean mafia boss from a sinking car. A story of survival and redemption. A story of darkness and light. A story of two people who should never have met but could not stay apart. Some people say love finds you when you least expect it. Zara would say love found her at the bottom of a river, gasping for air, holding on to a stranger who would become her everything. And what happened next? Well, you just heard it. It shocked everyone. Especially them. And that, my beautiful viewers, is where we end today's story. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed creating it. If this video touched your heart, smash that like button, drop a comment telling me your favorite part, and do not forget to subscribe if you have not already. New videos drop every week, and trust me, you do not want to miss what is coming next. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this family. And remember, no matter where you are in your journey, your love story is still being written. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. See you in the next video.